G'day YouTube, welcome back to the VK8FOS YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about cellular base station again today, guys. And more specifically, we're going to be covering a topic that has already been covered by a good friend of the channel and childhood Linux and SDR hero of mine, about how you call the outside world from a YateBTS 2G base station. If you guys don't know what YateBTS is, it's if you're a newcomer to the channel, it's a free and open source software suite that allows you to deploy and operate a small 2G GSM test cell. I've done heaps of videos on my channel about that. You can go and check out this playlist here if you're more interested in how you do that. It requires a piece of quite expensive piece of hardware called a full duplex transmit capable software defined radio, and some names of those are like your Lime SDR, your BladeRF, your USRP, and all the clones of the USRP and that you can find online. So yeah, that's really cool. But what we're going to be talking about is how you connect a 2G GSM YateBTS base station. How do you connect it and configure it in such a way that you can contact the outside world? And when I say contact the outside world, I'm talking about making phone calls to the outside world from devices that are connected to your base station. And good friend of the channel, Aaron, has already done that. And in part 2, he's got a 2-part video series on that. I was actually featured in part 2. So how this works is Aaron deployed his base station in his laboratory, obviously in a controlled laboratory environment. He had configured it in such a way to connect it to a SIP and IIX trunk provider, which allowed his base station to contact the outside world. So what he did was he deployed the base station and he actually called me from a mobile phone to Australia from his fake base station, false base station. So yeah, really, really cool. He goes through the configuration in part 1, and then in part 2 we actually do the collaboration where he calls me. And we also spoke to Rob from New End as well, which that's the designer, manufacturer, and seller of the BladeRF software-defined radio. So very, very cool series that Aaron's done there, and I was honored to be featured on his channel. Really, really cool stuff. So yeah, go and check out those 2 videos. I'm not going to go into the software and hardware configuration. We're going to talk about like configuring the SIP, voice over IP stuff, but I'm not going to show you how to do the actual configuration of the software for the base station, how you set up the base station, because I've done that in this playlist here. So yeah, if you just go to my channel and then you go to my playlist section or whatever, you'll see 2G base station tutorial. So yeah, part 1, we configure all the hardware and software. Part 2, I just demonstrate the features of it. And then part 3, we do some naughty stuff. So yeah, that's a really, really cool video series. So go and check that out in your own time. Okay, let's talk about the actual configuration. So I'm not going to expose what voice over IP provider I'm using for you guys. This is probably going to be heavily censored in post-production, unfortunately, but I will show you the key things, the key settings in my user dashboard of my SIP provider, and how you need to transpose those settings into YateBTS. So I'll just change tab now to my SIP provider. So this is the SIP provider that I'm using. I've just purchased a SIP trunk, and at the moment I just have calls within Australia going on, but we're going to demonstrate international calling very soon. So if I just show you, yeah, you guys should be able to see enough here. So basically you've got your SIP server address, you've got the port, we have the actual username here, we've got the password, I've got some like call plan and caller ID stuff going on here, and I think one of the noteworthy things to mention is the codecs here. These are the 2 codecs available that YateBTS supports. Apparently, I don't know if I haven't played around with changing these to see if it works or anything, but I just looked at what YateBTS supported and then just selected those 2 codecs. So I don't know if that's relevant or not. Yeah, I've got the name of the SIP trunk servers, and I've if your SIP provider has this option here, create SIP registration, that's the mode that we're going to use to connect to YateBTS, or YateBTS will connect to my SIP provider. So that should be enough information there. So I'm going to change tab now to the actual YateBTS web GUI configuration utility, and you can find that at this address up here. And yeah, in the outgoing tab. So go to your outgoing tab, and then yeah, basically you just transcribe those values from your SIP provider into here. So some noteworthy ones that I'm going to mention is we're going to be using SIP. In Aaron's video, he actually uses IAX because that was the only thing that worked with his SIP, with his voice over IP provider. So, but I managed to get it working with SIP. So that's pretty cool. Again, we just use the username and the password that the SIP voice over IP provider provides us. We put the server in there, so I'm going to blank all this out so you guys can't see, but here is the domain name of the server, and then we've got port 70. I'm not going to show you the port because that might expose what provider I'm using. Never mind. 70 something, you'll never know. Haha. Yeah, obviously we've enabled it. It seemed to only work with TCP with my voice over IP provider. I changed it to UDP and then nothing works. So, and then yeah, you guys remember the codecs. So these are the two codecs which both my SIP voice over IP provider and YateBTS supported. So I just configured that. I haven't played around to see if that doesn't work or not. And then these two options here: match port no and match user no. And yeah, that's basically everything, all the configuration stuff that I've got to show you. So, and yeah, so I'll just minimize my browser now. So I've got a couple of windows open here. So I'm not going to be showing you guys the phone call yet, because we're going to be doing something a bit special. I'm going to get my childhood software defined radio and Linux hero on my channel. I think you guys know who that is, aren't we? Yes, I'm going to call Aaron. So Aaron from Sim Executor, I should say. So yeah, we're gonna be calling him. I'm gonna call him first, and we're gonna have a chat and all that, and then later on we're gonna do some naughty stuff. All right. So the naughty stuff is my personal stuff that I'm doing. Do not involve Aaron in anything like that. Okay. He's just being a guest on my channel. I'm gonna hang up the phone, and then I'm gonna show you guys some naughty stuff. In a controlled laboratory environment. So Aaron has nothing to do with the last part, okay? He's just calling me, we're going to have a chat, and then I'm going to move on with the video. So I don't want to tarnish his reputation. So I'll just explain a few things here. So this is obviously the launch command of the base station. I've got everything set up in my garden shed out there. The garden shed's all metal, so that kind of acts like a Faraday cage. So I don't want to pollute the environment with spurious radio signal. So that's my controlled laboratory environment, my metal shed. So the signals do not protrude much from the shed, obviously, because it's made of metal. The second window here will show me SIP, which is was it session initiation protocol, SDP, which is session discovery protocol, and then RTP. So SIP is like the signaling packets in voice over IP. SDP sets up the connection, I believe. And then RTP is the actual audio voice packets. So I've just got that monitoring my network adapter there. And then that'll just show me like the SIP, SDP, and RT packets coming through. And then this last window here, that'll actually show us the call setup and alert ringing packets and stuff that are actually emanating from the base station. So yeah, that's really cool. So, and yeah, I've got my phone here. This is the phone here that I'll be calling Aaron on here. It's just connected via screen copy, so I've got remote access to my Android phone there. So yeah, I'll be calling Aaron from this phone here when we do it. So yeah, that's about everything I have for you. So I'm going to stop this part of the video, and then we're going to set up a call with Aaron, hopefully. So hopefully this all works. And yeah, we'll have a brief chat with Aaron and see how he's been going and what cool projects he's been working on. So no worries. See you shortly.